And now,
it's 10 a.m.
Let's just get down to it.
And it's time for your sports fix.
Strap yourselves in, folks.
From two guys who have covered the teams you're passionate about for years.
We are professionals.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Jacob Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. Happy Monday to everybody. Happy belated Mother's Day to all the moms out there. Ben, how did the moms in your life do?
They look at me. They did a terrible job.
I mean, yesterday. Did you have a good time?
They did a great job. No, yeah. Well, my mom is on the other side of the world. They did a crazy trip down through Egypt and Cairo and all kinds of. Yeah, they did a very cool late life trip.
Wow.
I don't know if they consider it late life, but I do. But yeah, they've been doing Africa, which is very cool. But they're flying back today, so I didn't actually see my mother. And then, the mother of my children does a great job.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad. Yeah, right. Christian, you take care of your mom yesterday?
Yeah, we did. She had a great time.
Okay.
Went up there for dinner and stuff.
You call your mother-in-law?
No. I should do that.
Yeah, I didn't text either. I should have.
Oh, I didn't mean to bring up a sore subject. I hope neither one
of
your
Justine.
More mother-in-laws are listening.
Happy Mother's Day. Belated. Not belated. Another day to celebrate. Christian's birthday.
Today?
Happy birthday, my man.
Thanks, man.
Wow. 21?
25.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Big 2-5.
What are you doing?
Watching the draft lottery.
Producing a show.
Oh, you're not going to go out to dinner or something tonight?
I'm sure we will. Haven't decided on anything yet. But, yeah.
The Brigham City kid in you wants to go to Maddox.
I have considered it.
Yeah, go get that porterhouse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's tough, though, because with the lottery, I'm going to be sweating it the whole time.
It's true. We'll go after the lottery.
I could.
And then you either have a celebration meal or you have a depression meal.
Pick-me-up meal, yeah.
Yeah. It's a great setup. That's why I'm excited to be at JCW's tonight. I get to celebrate regardless. I'm eating a jalapeno burger or something. I can't wait to. Whether the Jazz win or not, whatever.
You really merge feelings and food in a weird way, no?
Sure, we all do. Do we not?
Do we?
Most people.
I feel like I definitely do, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, no matter what happens in the lottery, it's probably not going to make to ruin my day. Second of all, do you really throw a burger on it to feel better?
Sure.
Okay. I guess we all have our thing. Food is something I'm legitimately asking.
Yeah.
Make yourself feel better with a jalapeno burger from JCW?
I mean, that always makes me feel better, just because usually I'm hungry.
It's probably cheaper than therapy.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
Therapist, that's like hundreds of dollars a session, right?
I can't imagine, shout out to our wonderful Jazz fans out there, but having to go to therapy if the Jazz don't win the lottery tonight.
Well, you were talking about how upset you were, or everybody was, or whatever Christian was. Can't even eat? Can't even have a birthday dinner?
No, it's the thing. He gets to do whatever. One way or another, he has an excuse to go to Maddox, have himself a steak. Life's good.
They've got a porterhouse up there, Ben, that's basically the size of one of your children.
Yeah? Well, good.
I don't even know what size is it, Christian. It's like 32 ounces or something.
I don't remember the ounceage, but it's huge.
It's not the old 96er from The Great Outdoors, which, Christian, is a movie from the late 80s starring John Candy and Dan Aykroyd.
But Christian used to work at Maddox, right?
I did, yeah. It's kind of like a rite of passage in Brigham City.
If
everybody works there.
Grow up there, you got to work there?
What did you do?
I was a busser.
Okay.
Is it like everybody who grows up in Heber has to work on the train?
I'm sure.
All right. Well, there you go. Yeah, Maddox is delicious. They should sponsor the show. Shout out to the good folks up there at Maddox. Happy birthday to you, Christian.
Did you say the porterhouse?
Yeah.
2 pounds.
Yeah.
Or a massive 2 pounds. Okay, it looks like a 1. 2 pounds. Hands-on.
I've tried to tackle that thing a couple of times.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Back in my younger, heavier eating days, and I never got through it.
You were more depressed.
I watched my buddy Alex get through it.
Okay.
It took a lot.
I've not been. I should go.
Did you ever, it's kind of a side funny story, and then we'll talk about things that are relevant. Did you ever go to Cafe Pierpont when it was downtown?
Yeah, I worked as a busser there. One day.
So the burrito.
Actually, maybe it was 2 days.
The burrito challenge there, do you remember that?
Uh-huh.
How big? It was like a 3-pound burrito, right?
Yeah.
And if you ate it, your meal was free?
Yeah.
My buddy Woody did that on his prom night. First of all, bad look because you can't even pay for a meal. I mean, like,
Correct,
come on.
right. You're like, I got to finish this thing.
Second of
I
all,
didn't bring any money.
do you really want to eat 3 pounds of food in front of a date that you're supposedly trying to impress?
Especially a
Like,
burrito.
that's not sending the message that you think it is. And then to your point there, fault number 3, he spent the entire dance portion of the date in the John.
Yeah, right. Sick or otherwise. But yeah.
And I don't even think they gave him the free burrito there. I think they gave him a coupon to come back.
Oh, that would make sense. Like, you got to pay for this one.
This one you got to pay for.
But the
You
next
ate that
one, you
food.
can have another 3.
Yeah, right.
pound
So it
burrito.
didn't even like work out that well for him.
Okay. Yeah, I worked there for a day or 2.
Don't do a food challenge on a prom date.
Yeah.
Maybe not a date ever. Like, don't do the spicy sushi challenge or whatever.
Yeah, right. The Wingstop.
What, you're going to just sit there and
11
sweat
wings
in front of a companion trying to impress?
Yeah, curse, whatever you're doing.
All right. Ben, big day today for the Jazz. Big day today in the NBA. Well, not big day, I guess. There's news out there about Giannis being open to a trade. And as David brought up, it actually all could be related. It's probably not an accident this news is surfacing at this time before the lottery because, once those picks truly have value, then all of a sudden maybe things can open up a little bit.
Right. As I've said, I'm trying to think of any team would trade the number 1 overall pick for Giannis. I don't think so. I think the expectation, right or wrong, and probably wrong, even though I'm a huge Cooper Flag fan, is that his highest level is so high that he can take a team that even feels like they're close to a championship.
Yeah,
so,
no. I'm more think with Giannis, it's like what happened with Kevin Garnett. It's Danny Ainge got the 5th pick,
right?
And all of a sudden he has the 5th pick, and he's going to flip that for the veteran, and that person or that team is getting the number 5 pick. That team's not getting some who knows what first rounder in 2032. They're getting the number 5 pick in this year's draft. There's value there.
So I'm looking at teams that feel like they might be that close. And yeah, it's not the number 1 pick because you're holding on to Cooper Flag. It may be as early as the number 2 pick, in all honesty. If you are a specific number of teams, I think you might move the number 2 overall pick if it means you can get Giannis. And by the way, that's the right decision. If you're the right team.
Yeah, I was thinking about this today. Think of the latest consensus number 2 picks. Lonzo Ball.
Yeah.
Your guy Scoot of the scooter up there in Portland. Ja was kind of a consensus number 2 pick, and he turned out to be all right. But if you think Dylan Harper is a consensus number 2 pick, well, the hit rate on consensus number 2 picks actually is not that great.
I was talking to one of the hockey people for the Mammoth, and they were talking about how excited they were to have the number 4 pick because so often in hockey, which I don't think this happens as much in basketball, but he says it's very common in hockey for someone to think they're the smartest guy in the room and really reach on somebody. So the hockey club is excited about 4 because they think somebody in the top 3 is going to reach and grab some bad player.
Yeah.
And this guy's going to fall to them. 2 is funny in the NBA because it's like we establish who the number 2 is really early in the year the same way we do with number 1, and then we stick to that right or wrong, which is why I think there's a huge flop rate with the number 2 overall pick.
Yeah, because Draft Express is wrong a lot.
Because someone's just like, well, it's not the number 1 guy, and the drop-off from number 1 to 2 is actually usually pretty cataclysmic. It's usually pretty high. But we just fall in love with the idea that that's such a valuable pick. Now, that's not to say if the Jazz get the number 2 pick, like it's a bad night tonight. It's a huge win for the Jazz if they get number 2 overall. But if you're, say, the Philadelphia 76ers, and you have the number 2 overall pick, and you can package it with contracts, even if it's Paul George, for Giannis Antetokounmpo, you should do it.
Yeah, I would agree.
Paul George and the number 2 overall pick is a great, and even if you had to give in like Jared McCain or whatever, one of their good young players.
Paul George doesn't have any value. Probably,
right, that's the thing. You're getting off of Paul George with the contract and with the number 2 overall pick, and then a young player it's a get out of jail free card. Plus, you might get Giannis back.
And Philly doesn't have any resources anyway, so they might as well try to win now.
Yeah.
So that makes more sense.
I think if they got the number 1 overall pick, I think Philly would hold on to it and just say, you know what? If Joel's never healthy again, this guy bridges the gap. This is the guy in Cooper Flag that keeps us relevant for the next 6 years as soon as we really truly believe that Joel can't play. And best case scenario, Joel and Paul George are healthy next year, and Jared McCain's healthy next year, and Tyrese Maxey's back, and then you throw in, all of a sudden Cooper Flagg's the 5th best player on the team, which is not going to be the benefit he gets anywhere else, and you've got a real opportunity to win a title, and you run with that. But if they fall short of number 1, I would think they would be heavily involved, or if they fall to number 2 or jump to number 2, I guess I should say, I think they'd be really heavily involved in trying to get on the Giannis train. But, it doesn't make sense for Brooklyn.
No.
It doesn't make sense for New Orleans, probably, maybe. But I don't think Giannis wants to go to New Orleans. It certainly doesn't make sense for the Jazz. I mean, maybe it would a little bit if you could keep everybody, but I don't think you're keeping everybody. You're probably doing the number 2 overall pick in Lowry if we're talking about Paul George and the number 2 overall pick and a good young player. So they're related. It takes a really couple of specific teams. The Rockets, I would. The Rockets jumped up to number 2. Number 3, I would call on Giannis. But
yeah, because they don't need another number 2 pick necessarily.
No, they don't. They have Reed Shepherd on their team who didn't play this year and was the number 3 pick last year.
Yeah, and they need a top end dude.
They need a star.
Yep. By the way, tell me this. I found an article from Bleacher Report. I don't even know how old this thing is. It doesn't really matter. It goes back a few years. But the best number 2 picks of all time. Tell me if you think this would be better.
Okay.
Number 10, Kevin Durant.
Then Giannis?
No. Like, when you think all-time number 2 picks, you think you're, like, getting a star, right? These are the 10 best ever.
Okay.
And they're pretty good, so I'm like, should it be better than this, or is this better than you would think, right? Because I think more Lonzo Ball than I do some of these guys. And this is pretty good. 10, Kevin Durant. 9, Earl Monroe. 8, Alonzo Mourning. 7, Gary Payton. 6, Isaiah Thomas. 5, Bob McAdoo. 4, Jason Kidd. 3, Bob Pettit. 2, Jerry West. Number 1, Bill Russell. Okay. So a lot of old timers there, but still
Bill
a lot
Russell
of
didn't go number 1.
Still a lot of legends. Yeah, Bill Russell didn't go number 1.
I didn't know that.
I don't know about Jason Kidd at number 4, but I mean he's a Hall of Famer as a second pick. So I don't know.
You said Kevin Durant at number 10?
Yeah.
I mean Kevin Durant's he's the best.
He seems
Bill
a little-
George is Bill Russell's the best.
Jerry West is pretty good.
Jerry
too.
West is very good, yeah. But Kevin Durant's right there. So this is an older article. But
your chances of getting a star at number 2 better maybe than I would have thought. I don't know. There's so much randomness to the NBA. I brought this up with DJ. The best player in the league right now was second round pick.
Yeah.
Giannis himself was in the teens.
Right. In a bad draft.
Right.
The 2013 horrible Anthony Bennett draft.
Jason Tatum went number 3. I mean, who are these other stars? If you want to look in the East, Tyrese Halliburton was
11 or 12.
Late lottery.
Yeah. Donovan Mitchell. Not the banner day for Donovan Mitchell, but he's going to finish top 5 in
it's
MVP
just crazy
voting.
because the best players in the league have never probably been always top 3 picks or top 2 picks or whatever.
Right.
And that's the thing when general managers, when the Jazz are picking 9th or whatever, and they're saying, well, we can get a star here. Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler, second round pick. Who we think? Steph Curry was 5.
Jimmy was like 30th in the first round. But yeah, very late first round. Rudy Gobert, 27th pick. So.
I mean, LeBron was number 1, obviously, but I don't think he's the best player in the league anymore. Doncic himself was 4. 4 traded for 5, right?
3 for 5?
Was it 3 for 5?
I think it was 3 for 5.
He was picked 3rd by Atlanta and then traded to Dallas for Trae Young, who was 5th.
Yeah.
And obviously other stuff.
If I remember correctly. Yeah. No, the number 2 pick is historically a weird pick. And, we don't know where the Jazz are picking. We're just talking about the idea of what type of pick you would trade for Giannis.
People will be super bummed if they hit number 5, and I get why.
Yeah, it's the worst
but
odds.
Getting a play,
the best
I
odds.
just am not planning on the Jazz getting the number 1 pick.
Agreed.
I know there are people out there, our guy PK is just selling it that he knows.
Feels it.
I just doubt it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm a glasses half empty kind of guy, but get ready to pick 5. And then what are you going to do with it? Are you going to move it for something? Can you get a guy there? Do you have to trade up like Kevin O'Connor?
Yeah.
How far can you trade up? That's the interesting stuff to me.
Yeah. How do you shift if you end up at 4 or 5? Well, what do you do with it there? Do you just say, well, we're going to make the pick and you're going to stick with that? Or, do you jump around? Do you say, hey, there's a star out there that's going to be available? I think there's a real chance Darius Garland's available this summer. If the Cavs lose in 5 games or 6 games, they're going to have to make real changes. They're going to be too expensive, and they're going to be looking around to get players. Now, maybe they do something simple like they trade Darius Garland for Kevin Durant with the Suns and just try and give another team an all-star and a younger team, and they get a guy who's ready to help them win at a higher level in the playoffs right now. But yeah, maybe they look around and say, hey, we need a high pick that's going to give us some upside and address some of our issues. We think we could do that with the 5th overall pick or the 4th overall pick, and the Jazz need an all-star point guard. And look, that changes your team quickly. As you mentioned, I mean, the Danny Ainge falling to 5 on draft night and trading Jeff Green for Ray Allen and then acquiring Kevin Garnett a month later or whatever it was and winning a title, it's really exciting. It's still a historic run for the Boston Celtics. So the nice thing is you are getting a great asset tonight, regardless of what happens 1 through 5. Certainly, though, best case scenario, you want to get 1 or 2.
So 48% chance they're picking 5th?
Yep.
And then divide it up there forward.
14% at 1. So actually, they're most likely as 5th. Their second most likely is 1st, and then so on. It drops down to like 13, 12, 10.5 or something for 4th. So 4th is actually their least likely.
And Ben will be there packing away jalapeno burger at JCW.
Yeah, I kind of got funny timing. I'm excited about this. I'm going to be doing 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock, me and Scotty. Well, 5 o'clock is when the lottery starts, and then 5:30, Justin Zanuck's jumping on a Zoom call. So I don't know if I'm doing anything other than housing burgers at JCW.
Well, that's nice for you.
Multiple.
Yeah, if we're taking a live presser.
I'm there in the 3 o'clock hour with David James, so.
Well, you don't have to do anything either.
No, I'll just sit at the side and
old DJs get a chat.
Let my guy David go.
And it's the first hour of JJ and Alex.
They'll have something to say.
They'll have something to say. So you and I can have some burgers tonight.
All right.
Let's do it.
It sounds good to me.
Well, Christian's off getting a porterhouse.
For his birthday. 25. Is that a big one?
Yeah.
I can rent a car.
Oh, you couldn't rent a car before.
Right.
Renting a car stinks. So
you'll learn this going forward, Christian. Birthdays tend to lose a little muster.
Your next big one's 50.
Yeah, I'm turning 44
Are you?
next month.
I'm 39 next month, so this is my last year of my 30s.
I didn't think 40 was that big a deal.
I wish I was 25.
Well, you could go through your life wishing that.
Yeah.
It's a waste of time. All right. Well, happy birthday to Christian.
Bring
we'll see
some
what
good luck to Jazz fans everywhere.
Harriman location of JCW's, that is where we will be this afternoon, and we're doing a watch thing. The food is great. The shakes are great. The wings are good. Salads. My wife likes salads there.
Yeah.
All
but
good.
if the Jazz win, I expect to be there longer than 5 to 6.
Oh, yeah, I would guess
I think we'll stay live and
blow it out.
Have a nice long chat about what a difference maker this would mean for the Utah Jazz.
All right, stay tuned. Top 3 stories of the day. KSLSports.com coming up next. It's Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I present...
This is JJ and Alex.
Big T Thurl Bailey joining us.
It's so weird that the fate of a franchise can come down to a random drawing, but that's just how it is in the NBA. Is it too much hyperbole to call this one of the most important moments in franchise history?
Look, it's not a perfect science, but I don't think it's hyperbole at all because your goal is to hopefully get the top pick. I mean, that's not just your goal, but, the other teams that are involved in that as well. But again, it may not happen, but there's some great players coming out in the top 5. I know everybody's talking Cooper Flag this and Cooper Flag that, but, I think there's definitely talent there that can help the Jazz continue to progress based on maybe what they're trying to do with all their other assets. But no, I don't believe it's hyperbole at all. It's a really important time, and there are going to be a lot of eyes on it.
Catch JJ and Alex afternoons from 3 to 6. Presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It's time to break down the biggest stories of the day. This is the top 3 stories of the day on KSLSports.com. On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jacob Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. Time for the top 3 stories of the day at KSLSports.com. Brought to you by our friends at J. Brooks Jewelers. Cherish your love with J. Brooks Jewelers. Explore their expertly crafted engagement rings made from the finest materials. J. Brooks Jewelers. All right, Christian, where do you want to start today?
Number 1, hitting yesterday's NBA scores. The Thunder, they tie it up, and then Indiana, they go up 3-1. Donovan Mitchell, hurt.
An exhausted-looking Denver team. Horrible out of the gate. Had a lead going into the fourth quarter and thought they were going to be able to hold on to it and just don't have the depth. Jokic this is the worst I've ever seen him play. He's just getting overwhelmed.
Well, he doesn't have a very good team.
Yeah, and they're just throwing everything at him. But I just wanted to get that out of the way because I think the more interesting story locally certainly is the Cavaliers are down 3-1, and Donovan Mitchell quite literally did not come out at halftime. Well, he came out and then went back to the locker
One
room.
of the biggest beatings at halftime I've seen, up 40?
80-39.
41.
I was kind of tracking it because I was up at Bear Lake. I told Christian that. And so we were driving back and stopped in Evanston and looked at the score, and it was like, or as we were going back, I was asking my fiance like what the score was. It was like 20. And then in a 3-minute period, it jumped up to 41. It was like, oh, wow, this isn't going to be a game where it's 18, 16 in the third quarter and the Cavs are going to come back. Like, that's a stomping. 41 points at halftime is a drubbing embarrassing.
Well, it's the Pacers.
It is.
And they just pour it on. That's
They
their
do.
thing. They don't guard, but they pour it on offensively, which is it's why I don't think the Pacers are a legit title contender. But, hey, they're about to make it to the conference finals for 2 years in a row.
And they also did hold the Cavaliers to 39 points. They're not a good defensive team. I'm not pretending they are. But over the second half of the season, they've been much better than people realize. And then on top of it, they're truly an elite offensive team, to your point.
But I can't help but think, you remember when the Jazz lost to, who was it? It wasn't the series. It was after the Jazz lost, I think, to the Rockets the first time, when Donovan Mitchell was like, this is never going to happen again. I hate this feeling. Never. It was kind of a naive take, no?
It happened again.
Isn't that kind of just that? I don't think that version of Donovan Mitchell, and maybe, hey, I don't mean to be too critical necessarily, but that version of Donovan Mitchell should really have appreciated the success that the team was having, because it's really hard to do.
Yeah.
And he walked into the league in a successful situation that was set up for his success specifically. Mm-hmm. Gordon Hayward had left the team high and dry without a number one.
Yeah.
And he said, I'll shoot.
Yeah.
And had a historic run. His rookie season was unbelievable.
Yeah, it's one of the great rookie seasons in NBA history, truly.
They should write a book about it. 9 games out of the playoffs in January, and they end up beating a quote-unquote super team in the first round. Mm-hmm. I mean...
Yeah, he leads the team in scoring. Very cool.
Wild.
Yeah.
Wild. But doing that stuff or getting to the next level is really hard in the NBA. It's really hard. And he hasn't been out of the second round since.
By the way, the Pacers, over the last 50 games of the regular season, number 9th ranked defense. Way better than I would have thought.
Yeah, me too.
So to their credit, some of that I think is because their offense is so good. They have other teams trying to play catch up the whole game. But
Miles Turner's huge, and so is Pascal Siakam.
And so is Tyrese.
Yeah, they're all huge and rangy.
Whether he's a good defensive player or not, he's big, and that's very helpful. And the Cavs are very small. And again, Evan Mobley has some great moments. He's had a good season this year. It's very statistically similar to what he did last year. I get he won Defensive Player of the Year. They're not a great team. They were a great regular season team that steamrolled a lot of teams that weren't prepared for them night in and night out. But clearly the Pacers are not intimidated by them. And once they got a couple of days to prepare for them, they've dominated them. But up 3-1, Donovan Mitchell looking at another second-round playoff exit, and this team having to make more radical changes around him. It's just a little too chaotic. And that's not Donovan. I don't think Donovan's trading Darius Garland. I don't think Donovan's trading any of these guys, but it's the issue that we have seen with Donovan since year 2. They went and traded all these guys, Ricky Rubio and all these pieces to build a roster around him, and it kind of didn't matter.
Was I the only one who thought when Donovan was limping at the warm-up for the half that I was thinking about kind of LeBron? Whenever LeBron falls short in the playoffs, all of a sudden the report is that he's near death.
And he grew up a Cavs fan watching LeBron. I did have that thought yesterday.
Like LeBron almost didn't survive the season. That's why they're not moving on.
We'll see what the results of this MRI are. He's got an MRI today.
Cloudy is my guess.
I thought Chuck in the postgame show had a good, not explanation, but a good talking point. He said, nobody asked Kenny Atkinson, if this was a 10-point game or an 8-point game, would Donovan have played? That's a good question. Nobody asked that. At least they didn't broadcast that. And that would have been worth knowing, but... yeah, we'll see. And remember, Donovan Mitchell missed the last 2 games of their last playoff series. Well, not last, but their last elimination in Boston with a lower leg injury. He does get hurt late in seasons, but he's not very big. And he's very athletic, and he relies on that. And that's hard for guys to make it through healthy, regardless of what the extent of the injury is.
This would be the second time in his career he had the best record in the conference. Did they have the best record? No, OKC had the best record in the league, right?
This year, yeah.
This year. So, but the number 1 seed in the conference to go out in the second round for the second time in his young career.
Yep.
It's rough.
And not so young career anymore.
If it happens, I don't know. Maybe they can come back, but I doubt it.
I doubt it. They are not playing like a team that, A, is healthy, and they're not, or B, all that confident. And the Pacers look like they're having way too much fun out there.
All right, what's next?
Number 2 games tonight. The Knicks are hosting the Celtics, and then we've got the Warriors and Timberwolves. We'll see how long the Warriors can keep treading water without Steph.
The Knicks finally were not able to overcome a 20-point blowout. And that's, again, the talking point of how good the Knicks have been in the fourth quarter. The other side of the story is they've been down 20 in all 3 games. That's bad. That's really bad.
It is?
Yeah. So the Celtics winning that game 3, obviously they had to win it because no team's ever come back from down 3-0. But certainly feels like with just one win, they've got all the momentum in the series.
What is more likely, the Knicks winning the series or the Celtics winning in 6?
Knicks winning the series. I think this is going 7. Knicks are going to get one more.
I don't know.
I think they'll get one more. But I certainly think the Celtics are going to win the series.
Would you call tonight a must-win, Ben?
Nope, it's not a must-win. I mean, maybe for the Knicks. They certainly
That's
need
what
to.
I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm not saying about the Celtics.
It would certainly help. Yeah, if they go back to Boston 2-2, the same way Denver's going back to OKC, it's not going to feel like they have a chance. And they know that. Internally, they're going to feel like they don't have a chance. So, yeah, they need to continue to find ways to expose the Celtics, which they've only really been able to do in the fourth quarter of these games so far.
And then, I expect Rudolph and the Wolves to steamroll the Warriors.
Which, good for the Timberwolves if they could make, I know tonight's not the elimination game, but if they could make back-to-back conference finals, that's extraordinarily legitimate.
Then all of a sudden, Julius Randle's the best player in the league.
He's great. He's playing awesome. He's really abusing a very small and now undermanned Warriors team, which is going to be looking to make more aggressive changes this offseason if they get eliminated in the second round.
Going to lay it out for Giannis?
Well, yeah, if they could. I don't think they have. I mean, they will make
they'll
the call.
keep Projemski, of course, but I mean, pretty much everything else, right?
At B-Pods. They could go after have to be a sign and trade. I don't know how they do it. So they could go after a Miles Turner or somebody like that. They could use another big body. So,
God, why would he leave Indiana? They love him there.
Yeah, they do. Well, I mean, kind of. They've tried to trade him a bunch of times, but now it feels like it's all fitting together finally.
Hey, being big, this is still basketball. Being big matters.
It's the best thing you can do.
Yep. All right, what's next?
Number 3, more on Giannis Antetokounmpo. He said he's going to explore his best fits outside of Milwaukee.
Yeah, what does that mean? That's not his job. He doesn't get to do that.
I talked about this with David. What would your criteria be if you were evaluating where you wanted to go?
I'd want to be able to compete for a championship. I'd need a 15th roster spot for my brother to be on the team, which has been one of his hang-ups. I don't think he has it this year. But, no, yeah, I want to be close to a championship, and I want to be there for 2 or 3 years.
You know what's funny? I wouldn't care about the players at all. If I'm truly picking where I wanted to go, I'd think about coach first and front office second. Because, I mean, look what happens when you put together a quote-unquote super team with Zeke in the front office and
Sure.
a cavalcade of bozos on the bench.
Yeah.
You know where you go? Nowhere. And then all of a sudden you're Kevin Durant and you've totally smeared your legacy and you've got to move on to try and bail it out with another team. I'd look at a smart team with a good coach, and that would be my first 2 things I would look for. Like, I would not want to go to Phoenix.
No, Phoenix, no, of course not.
Absolutely not. Even if they tried to sell me on, you'll be next to Devin Booker. Nope. Pass.
I don't care.
Hard pass.
Yeah. No, Phoenix.
You guys are going to totally screw it up. You know, like
Phoenix is going to trade for Darius Garland. They're going to trade Kevin Durant for Darius Garland. Like, that's the move this summer.
I wouldn't want to go to the Clippers. I wouldn't want to go to these organizations that just don't.
I'm trying to think of what the Clippers' move is. Like, you want to pair him with Kawhi. So it's James Harden. You know what I mean? And the Bucks aren't taking James Harden back, I don't think.
I mean, the most intriguing spot, I think, is Oklahoma City.
Yeah, it is. It has to be Oklahoma City. And look, OKC struggling with Denver the way they have in this second round. They should still be the favorites, in my opinion, to win the title. Maybe they don't even get past Minnesota. You know, if they fall short, they don't win a title this year, they should go all hands on deck for Giannis.
We were David.
Minus Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, but everything else is on the table. I don't care if it's Chet. I don't care if it's Jalen Williams. I don't care if it's 5 draft picks, 6 draft picks, whatever. Your window to win a title is so small. Go win one. You've never won one in Oklahoma City. Go get Giannis and win a title.
We've never seen a title contending team. I shouldn't say never, because David thought of an example, but a title contending team, like a team that was right there, top 2 or 3 teams or whatever, that had the most resources in the league too. I don't think we've ever seen that.
Yeah,
where they've
not
got
in a very long time.
A war chest of resources,
Right.
and arguably the best roster in the league. Like usually we see these teams that are the best that are just capped out with nothing.
Right.
Because that's what they had to do to get to be the best.
Right.
So Oklahoma City, in theory, wouldn't have to sacrifice a single player. I realize contractually you got to make it work. But they could trade all picks and add Giannis to already one of the best rosters in the league.
Right. You could probably say pick one of Jalen Williams or Chet, take one of those guys, bunch of draft picks, Lou Dort, and one of the other good young players they have on their roster, Topic, or maybe they get another draft pick this year if the Nets pick tonight falls 76ers pick tonight falls to 7. It goes to Oklahoma City. Take that. That's a great package. I mean, that might be better than anyone's package that anyone else could offer, honestly. And
they have more than anybody else can offer.
You still have Shea, and you still have one of Jalen Williams or Chet Holmgren. Yeah.
I'd keep both. Make it an all-pick deal.
Just picks, which you might be able to do.
I mean, if you're Milwaukee, you don't want to win now. What are you going to do with Jalen Williams? You're going to have to make an extra
the nice thing,
trade.
He's 24. You know what I mean? He's still on the upswing. He's young enough that it's not like getting Lowry at 28 years old on this Jazz team or Mike Conley hanging around still.
I hear you.
But if you wanted to trade him, you could, and you could get another haul. You know, you could probably flip him on draft night for the number 2 pick. You know, let's say you get the 5th or the 7th pick from the Thunder. You could then flip J-Dub for the 2nd and another player if you wanted to. He's that good. So, yeah, I would. And if I was Oklahoma City, I absolutely would.
Houston has a ton of resources, too.
I'd do Houston as well. Yeah.
Houston's got a good coach. I don't know about the front office. I think Oklahoma City has a great coach, and I think their front office, even though Sam Presti is far from perfect, is pretty solid.
Yeah. Again, not Brooklyn. I don't think I'm going to New York. They don't have any picks left either. Toronto would be kind of interesting if I could play with Scotty Barnes, but they probably want Scotty Barnes back, obviously. But yeah, there's just not a lot of places.
But see, if I'm honest, Toronto might work because Scotty Barnes is so young, but I don't want to fit into someone else's thing.
That's the problem with San Antonio, too. Like, you go play with Wemby, but you're playing with Wemby.
You're fitting into his thing.
Yeah.
Like we saw with one of the nicest players in the world, Mike Conley, when they traded for him. It took a while for them to figure out, not him to fall in line, but to figure out where he was on the pecking order.
How to use him. Yeah.
He was behind Donovan and Rudy. In Memphis, he was kind of the guy. Even though Zach Randolph and Marc Gasol were good, it was Conley's thing. And he had to come to Utah and he had to figure it out. And that's sometimes hard when you're going to somebody else's team.
It's what we're going to be talking about with LeBron and Luka even next year. And they far exceeded expectations during the regular season this year, fitting together. But until LeBron's gone, but it's going to be how are they working together. And then the second LeBron is gone, everyone's going to be talking about, okay, now they can finally fit this team to Luka.
The only reason the Durant thing worked with the Warriors is because Steph led it.
Yeah. And they were so good anyways. They had won 73 games.
But he took a step back, and when all the bozos are asking Kevin Durant if it's his team, is it your team, Kevin? You're the best player on the team. Steph didn't get jealous. He didn't do anything. He just was a good teammate and went forward. If he wanted to stink about it and make it a Kobe Shaq kind of thing where it's like you got to pick one of us, he could have done that.
Yeah.
He never did that.
Nope, he didn't.
At least not publicly.
Yeah. No, I think he ever did it privately. He won his titles and further established himself as one of the best players.
I think he's the exception, not the rule.
Yeah.
When LeBron went to Miami, you may be Dwayne Wade, but
it's my team.
You're playing with LeBron.
Yeah. Miami would be a great spot for Giannis if they had anything.
They don't have anything.
They don't have anything. So
I wonder.
Orlando would be cool. They've got good young players.
What about Portland? Put him with Scoot.
I actually like the idea of Portland. I think that'd be a cool team. I want him to stay in the Eastern Conference, if I'm honest with you.
Why?
Because the West is awesome already. I get an awesome Western Conference playoff series every time I turn on the TV. So stay in the East and let the East be cool. If Cooper Flagg doesn't go to the Jazz, give the top 5 picks to the Eastern Conference. I guess top 4 picks. Give the Jazz the 5th pick. If that's the case, just rebuild the Eastern Conference, please. The West is such a nightmare.
Okay. But it's been that way for 30 years.
It has. Let the East win, though. Let the East continue to get players. And everyone thought it was this, LeBron and the wake he created of just like nobody wanted to play in the East because you weren't going to get to the finals. And that was true. LeBron made 9 straight finals runs in the Eastern Conference. It's unbelievable. But I would like to see the East bounce back a little bit.
All right, stay tuned. We'll have more Jake and Ben coming up next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is DJ and PK.
Stephen Ellis, prospects analyst and associate editor for Daily Faceoff.
When we're looking at Utah in general, this is a team that is going to be on the up here for sure. And I'd say they've got a top 10 prospect pool. And you look at Tija Ginla, it's a guy who's just a workhorse. Dmitry Stimashev, he's played a lot in Russia. I really like Maverick Lamro. I love his size. Daniil Boot, 6'6" as a forward, which is very rare. And then they've got a really good goalie in Michael Arabel. When you look at what makes a pipeline really good, it's how many pieces at every position can you find? And Utah does have one of the deepest ones there. And I will say, if you get Porter Tone or Anton Frundell or even Caleb Denoyer, those guys are probably going to be the top prospect in the team system. That's why that fourth pick is going to be a huge boost for what is already a really strong program.
Catch DJ and PK mornings from 6 to 10 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Who's got it better than us? Nobody!
Your home for the best sports coverage in Utah. You're listening to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Want to remind you, win big every Wednesday on the KSL Sports Zone with Win Ticket Wednesday. This Wednesday, you can win tickets to Ice Cube and the 4 Decades of Altitude North American Tour coming September 17th to Maverick Center. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com, or you can listen to the KSL Sports Zone all day on Wednesday for your chance to win. All right, Ben, I want to know where you fall out on the biggest non-sports controversy of the day.
Okay.
Was it cocaine or not?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Have you seen this video out on Twitter? Have you seen it, Christian? The French president, the German chancellor,
Okay.
and the English prime minister were on a train from Poland to Ukraine when reporters came in and started filming. Ben, now look at this.
I've got it right
Macron
here.
sits down. There's a baggie full of white powder on the table.
Okay, and he puts it.
He nonchalantly
He cuffs it.
cuffs it.
Yeah.
And apparently there was a spoon around or something like that somewhere, somebody said. But all I see really is the baggie of cocaine. The leaders have come out and said fake news.
It looks like a crumpled up paper to me. But yes, one of the guys on the right has a spoon of some kind.
So I want to know, Ben, is this like Super Cool Bees' weed in the background of his tattoo photo? It does look a little papery.
They are, but they do look suspicious after they gather everything up, right?
The guy grabs the spoon, Marcon grabs
and they both like
the baggie, and they're kind of like, I didn't see anything. Yeah.
Full concealment.
Right. Definitely like a teenager busted doing something bad, you know?
Now, they're also like drinking water, so there's a chance a guy dropped like an Alka-Seltzer in his water and stirred it with the spoon. So
I guess.
You're right.
But why are they hiding it?
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, unless you just don't want garbage on the table because you think it looks unofficial.
But don't we all picture these meetings with high-powered leaders as just cocaine-fueled mayhem?
I certainly thought of like the Big 12 meetings to get...
What, like Yormark's doing cocaine? What
No,
are you talking about?
I mean like smoky rooms with whiskey and big cigars, and you know what I mean? You walk in and it wafts out, and that's where a lot of these things are getting hashed out. So I guess it's possible.
No, it's doing lines in a bathroom of an Eastern European club.
But these people are on a train in
well, yeah, it's
fancy
after the party.
sweaters. I've told you I've never seen that drug in my life. I've never seen it. If it's been in my presence, I haven't known. So I guess in the sense I wouldn't even know like what to look for of it. I wouldn't know the red flags.
Well, it's white in a powder, I think.
Yeah, right. Sure.
I don't have any experience with the drug either, but
like
know,
you
if you
can
see
tell
a
the
baggie
super
full
cool
of white powder,
bees photo.
Yeah,
it was
that's
like,
weed.
Well, this guy's got a huge bag of weed on us. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Pretty embarrassing.
But to the point where, okay,
Emmanuel, he left the cocaine on the table.
I would understand, like you're saying, like, you know, dance club, maybe in a bathroom, that would make sense. On a train, is that a thing people do? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Again, I've never seen it. I've never been around it.
Honestly, I wouldn't have thought twice if he wouldn't have, like, palmed it. It's the
way
reaction.
he picks it up and takes it away is
Yeah,
very suspicious.
yeah.
Like, oh, that's not supposed to be there.
That's a 15-year-old hiding something from his dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I hope you didn't see that. Oh, man.
Then again, have you seen the other longer video from like further back? They're far more casual about it being out there.
Well, you got to act that way, yeah.
I think it's nothing.
You think it's paper?
Did you see this video?
Let's see.
This is like the long one.
Yeah, they're sitting down there. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, it's like a long, like
the cocaine's right there.
It's not clearly they're not worried about it.
Well, they forgot about it.
No, I don't think so.
Until the French guy was like, I need to. Oh, someone left the cocaine out.
I think this is
Sacre bleu.
Yeah, I think that might be a tissue.
Oh man. Okay, all right.
And maybe like a toothpick. Legitimately, I think it's a toothpick and a piece of and a crumpled up napkin.
Why are they palming it?
Because you don't like to have your toothbrush out when guests are over? I don't know. I clean up my area. You can't see my coffee cup in our cameras here.
Didn't they find cocaine at the White House like last year?
I don't know.
You remember that story, Christian?
I do remember that story.
Yeah.
There was a famous family member who had some problems.
Who did like the cocaine, yeah.
This appears to be a crumpled up tissue.
Yeah,
That's
it
what
looks
your
a lot
theory is?
like a tissue.
And if I had a dirty used tissue, I would probably move it
And a
out of frame
toothpick?
as well.
And
yeah.
a toothpick sitting on the table?
Yeah.
Yeah, I borrowed my parents' car because I got in a wreck at the end of the year last year, and my mom had one of those toothpicks in there, and I was grossed out by it. So, yeah, take your toothpicks. It's a toothpick, and it's a napkin. Sorry, I didn't know
and
that
you're
was...
probably believing that, when Draymond Green's out there kicking guys in the groin, that he's doing that on accident too.
Well, look at this close-up. They've got a close-up here. It's a tissue. My
I
goodness.
don't know, Ben.
What do you mean you don't know? It's very clearly a crumpled up piece of paper. But run with it.
I'm not running with anything.
You are running with it.
I just
Sacre
said
bleu,
you believe.
you yelled.
You're Forrest Gumping with it.
Yeah, you are.
Oh no, come on. I'm just asking questions. Like, why are world leaders hiding cocaine on a train?
I don't think that's what's happening.
But you don't know.
It took me 8 seconds to recognize that this is, quote unquote, my least favorite term, fake news.
That's what the French president called it.
Yeah, I bet.
Should have just left it on the table, bro.
Here's my napkin.
All right, stay tuned. It's like the media comes in and it's like parents visiting a dorm room.
Yeah, exactly right.
Ho, ho, hey.
Open the windows.
Pull that, whoa, hey.
Turn that fan on.
Got blindsided by my parents. They're in the lobby.
I'll meet you downstairs.
To repeat, Sacre bleu!
I'll meet you downstairs.
Stay tuned. More next. Jacob Ed, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.